Station, everyone. Happy new comic book day. Happy Whiplash Wednesday with the PCP Army Bad Batch. That's right, guys. It is Whiplash Wednesday, and it is just all sorts of fun. It all started over at One Collection Down over on Instagram. That is Fable My Brother Station, which leads us to right now. I'll get to the rest of what you can expect for Whiplash Wednesday with the PCP Army Bad Batch. But right now it is Chatting with the Comic Community, episode 23. Guys, it's been a fun ride talking to everybody in this comic community. But today I have a special guest. He's been everywhere in this comic community. You either see him in chats or he's on streams or hosting streams with a bunch of people in this comic community. So he is everywhere in this comic community. And I am talking about Kix, Kix, and Comics. Let's give him a hearty station to Kix, Kix, and Comics. Station. That was
Station,
a little
dude. Thank you very much for that very flattering welcome. Thank you.
No, thank you for joining me today. It's always a pleasure talking to anybody in this comic community because this community is just so great.
Sure is. And I think you, by far, are one of the hardest working members to make sure that the community is great. So thank you for what you do, sir. Thank you.
Oh, I just share what I love. That's what people are just kind of following suit, which I'm loving. There's just people are sharing what they love, and that's what this community is all about.
Yeah, for the most part anyway. We do have a few bad apples, but very far and few in between. And thankfully, none of us are really dealing with those kind of people. So,
yeah, we just try to avoid the negative and bring in the positive. But for the viewers at home that don't know a lot about you, why don't you just tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I am Nick from Kix Comix, and even though I have been reading comics for the better part of, do I want to say this now, 40 years, I have recently gotten back into collecting just shy of a year ago, and I'm realizing how much the game has changed since then. Nowadays it's all about newsstands and variants and virgin variants, and it's a lot different finding out all this stuff this time around, where it was the complete opposite growing up. Nobody wanted that ugly newsstand bar in the bottom left, and now it's costing you several $100s to get it. So it's odd to see how the things have changed since I first started collecting way back when. Now, I guess my name is a little bit misleading, but I'm a very big sneaker fan. I don't show much sneaker content, and that just goes to show how hard it is nowadays to get sneakers, exclusive sneakers, or even just regular Jordan drops. It's just not hard, and just something I wish I could keep up with, but comics has taken most of my time and my money now, so that's about it.
That's awesome, man. I wouldn't mind seeing some sneaker commercials content from you.
Yeah, I would love to do that, but like I say, it's nowadays I'm fighting the entire sneaker community. We're all chasing just a few limited pair, and we're fighting the bots that are helping most of those people get those drops. So it's not easy. And I'm not the type, never have been the type to wait in line for an extended period of time to get these things. So not easy. Whereas, just a comic book, and all you got to do is just find out where you want to buy it and just pay some money. Not that easy with sneakers.
So do you have a collection of sneakers?
I did. At its highest point, it was probably between 130 and 150 pair. Since getting married, moving to Texas, it's probably down to about 10 or 15. But it gets so hot here, and I rarely go any place, so most of the times it's just like sandals or something.
So what shoes do you mostly go for? The Nikes?
For my show-off pieces, yes. For my day-to-day wear, it's more like Adidas Ultra Boost. because they're just super comfortable. It's like walking on a cloud of air all day, and they look good on my feet. So those are the ones I'm wearing.
All right, let's get into the comics. So, like, what got you into comics? I know you said you got out of it for a while and then you got back into it. When did you start collecting, and what series were you collecting the most of?
Well, in the beginning, for me, it was an uncle that brought me comics. He was big into flea markets and just hustling on the side. So every now and again, as like a 7 or 8 year old, he'd bring me a stack of comics, coverless, and it would range from, I would say, mostly DC stuff, but stuff like Legion of Superheroes, Superboy, Lois Lane, none of the major titles. But I loved that because there was such a variety. It was so campy and crazy, just like the weirdest characters, like Elastigirl and just tons of crazy stuff that I kind of fell in love with back then. And not too long after that, being in school, all the other kids started to collect stuff like X-Men and Spider-Man. And that's how I got, exposed to that Marvel type of crowd. And I guess I fell in with the Marvel crowd since then. I'll dip into DC every now and again, but for me, it's been mostly Marvel stuff, with Spidey being my guy. This time around, I had stopped. You go back and forth sometimes. It's either like going out or some other interest takes away the money or the desire to buy comics. But this time around, I was reading digitally, and I just decided to pick up a book one day just for that tactile feel of it. And that just pulled me back in. And ever since then, it's just been weekly hauls, trying to catch up and finding out how expensive the market is nowadays to buy stuff that I want. And super big, super expensive comics week after week. My weekly stack will probably be like that thick. So it's fun, but it's quite expensive also.
Yeah, it does get pretty pricey, and I have seen the stacks of comics that you get. Like, how many do you pick up like on a weekly basis? Like 30?
It could be. It could be. I've been suckered into the cover buys lately. It's just the art is so fantastic. And, it's weird because I'll look at it once and no matter how amazing it may be, it'll just go into a box and sit there for a long time. There are just a few specific covers that I had, mostly Spidey, that I'll keep hang up on the room. And I guess I'm making more room for that, but I guess there will never be enough room for all the cover buys I make. So that kind of drives the big stack. So
Yeah, and space is also an issue when it comes to that as well. Like, where do you like if you're picking up that much comics, like you're filling up a box pretty fast.
yeah. And I don't think I have any short boxes. I have about 12 long boxes now, full. And about 10 of the graded boxes as well for the slabs. And I'm needing more, but I'm starting to whittle down now because, like I said, if I'm not enjoying it after 2 or 3 issues, I'm gonna drop it. So I'm trying to get that down. I'm trying to get my pull list down to about 4 or 5 titles a month. So see how that goes.
Yeah, but I think they figured us out with we'll only give it like 2 or 3 issues, maybe 4 until we drop it. Now they're coming out with like 3-issue minis, 4-issue minis, and that. So that's where they're getting us now.
Yeah, I'm finding with the DC stuff too. What started? There was something that started recently, but I'm like, oh, it's a 6-issue mini. I'm like, then I can't just pick up 3 issues. I got to pick up all 6. I'll just leave it alone. So you have to adjust your thinking as you go along.
So what was the series that got you back into comics? Was it Spider-Man?
Thor, actually.
Was it?
It was Donny Cates' run this time around, and just Thor being a badass fighting Galactus in the first couple of issues. I was just like, all right, let me see what comics this time is all about. And I started with issue 6, I think was the first one I bought. And then it was just downhill from there. So this time it was that. I would say I've been collecting 3 different times in my life. The second time before this, it was the New 52 that brought me in. I got pretty much, I think there were 26 or 28 titles relaunched. I picked up issues 1 and 2 of those. I read Batman for a bit, and I was lucky enough to pick out a few copies of Ultimate Fallout 4 when those came out. The first time around was from my childhood, probably till my mid-20s. And that included stuff that I don't even want to say that I got rid of. But the highlight of that was pretty much a full run of X-Men from issue 1 through 441. So the whole thing, the whole run. And then just sold it all. You know, I could have probably been a millionaire these days, but nobody knows. Nobody knew.
So what are you thinking? Like, you're picking up probably mostly Marvel now, aren't you?
I'm picking up a mixture of all 3. I find really the only Marvel stuff that I'm reading. I do enjoy Thor, Immortal Hulk, Amazing Spider-Man. I'll pick up, but I haven't read it. I probably got 25 issues from 49 up. I'm looking very forward to issue number 75 with the new writing team. DC, there are some DC stories I get. I find DC has the most beautiful covers nowadays. I can't stay away from those. And then, I hear how well Ron V is writing Swamp Thing. Got to pick it up. But most of the stuff that I'm reading nowadays is indie stuff because they just have I guess the most interesting premises and, just stories that are out of the norm. So I find that piquing my interest, and I find that I'm reading most of them. So.
Yeah, speaking of Ron V, like The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, like that was a very, very interesting story. I haven't read issue 5. By the time this airs, I probably would have. But yeah.
See, and that was one of those where I saw issue 1, that David Mack cover, and I was like, oh, I got to get that one. And then it just seems like, and I know most people don't like the foil covers, but I do. So I've picked up issues 1 through 5. I may not have 5 yet, but it's just one of those things. And I hear how great it was, so it's like double bonus for me.
Have you read it at all yet?
Not yet.
Oh, you're gonna really enjoy it. It's a different take on things. Like it's a story I've never really even read before or even heard of. And Ron V just takes that story and runs with it.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's just like those indie stuff is just, and especially with like a lot of the new studios. Last time I was in comics, it was just Image, Dark Horse, and it wasn't that many. I don't think Boom was around. Like Second Sight. A lot of these weren't around, and just seem to have sprung up and become popular. And since I've come back in, so
yeah, like it's surprising how many publishers there actually is. Like if you go and look at like what's coming out and stuff, you go down the list further, and you'll see like publishers you'd never even like Arctic Press. Like not a lot of people have heard of them, and Source Point. A lot of people have heard of them, but not a lot. Like it's just there's just so many random ones, and some of them just they come out with 1 book a month. That's it.
Right. And sometimes it's not in your LCS's interests to pick those up or buy those. So I think that becomes on us. I think I've found since getting back in that the community as a whole is a lot more informed, and I think that's up to us now more than ever to get this stuff out into stores and I guess introduce it to more people and get the word out. So it's our duty as well.
Yeah, always check previews, and like what a lot of people don't know, like I've been talking to a lot of people about this, is like there's these publishers are coming out with a lot of trailers on YouTube. Like if you go and you can go subscribe to Image Comics, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, all these publishers, and sometimes just they'll drop trailers. That's how I found out about Echolands.
Right.
And that was a great pickup, and I'm glad I did because it sold out like that, and it was a fantastic read.
Yeah, and I find that most of the community is as well, with the artists and the writers included, that they are very receptive to people coming out and asking them about stuff, and willing to share their things. I'm looking forward to Killaroo, which is a Darren Close project coming out of Australia. And Ignacio, the artist, happens to come out in the chats, and I consider him a friend now. So it's kind of like that close knit community, which is surprising to me that the artists and the creators are in as well. But it's also one of the benefits of being in the community. So
yeah, like I have to give it up for like Aftershock and Second Sight Publishing. I know Aftershock, if you share their stuff, they'll take notice and like hit you up in that and share it on their platform. And then Second Sight Publishing, you see them everywhere in this community. Marvin's usually in the chats, or you're part of a chat with half of Second Sight Publishing creators.
Right. And Marvin is a hustler like I've never seen. He'll get out there, he'll talk about making hundreds of phone calls a day, and talking about how we can help him get his stuff and other Second Sight stuff into our stores. So I think we're in an important part now more than ever in the process. So it's cool.
And it's just great that we live in this day of age that we can communicate further and not just like go store to store, people to people. Like we can get information out faster as well. And like right now, like you're in America, I'm in Canada, and like we can have this conversation, and it's just great that we have this kind of platform now.
Right. And it's just weird because, as bad as the coronavirus was, there's been a lot of benefit to it also. And I hate to say it, but there are a lot of friends that I have now that I consider very close that I've never even met, that I never would have met if it wasn't for that, for this pandemic happening. I wouldn't talk. I've never known anybody from Canada. Now I got 3 or 4 people that I consider close that I'm homies with now. So it's pretty awesome. But it's also a shame that it took this to do it. So
yeah, it's. But I guess you can say like out of a tragedy comes like a gift.
Yeah,
in a way.
Almost like a superhero story in its own right? Because you usually hear that a hero emerges out of this situation. So,
well, since we're on the topic, like you got into this community and that, like, how did you get the thoughts of starting your own YouTube channel?
It was weird. Like I've never thought of. I'm not artistic in the sense of I like to make videos and stuff, and I think it really shows who's talented. Like you could tell Chamorro was into it before starting a YouTube channel. This is a love and a passion for him. For me, I don't know what the first step was, but it kind of came along with another first step that I never thought I'd be doing. I bought a mystery box from somebody on IG called Eye Candy Comics. In doing my research on them, I had led up to YouTube, just seeing all these people unboxing stuff, like DJ Links and Alan May, Wild Comics unboxing, and that kind of led me into buying that for the first time. So in buying that, I was weirdly enough party with those other guys I just mentioned, because they had to happen to buy it also. So I said, you know what? Let me see what I can do. People are going to want to see what I got out of this box, because I think it was wasn't cheap. I mean, I think it was $800. So people I thought would be interested. So I started it from there, and then in getting to know people and getting some of the ideas, it started to, lead to more unboxings, more shout out videos. And then eventually, because it seems to be the easier thing to do, is just do the live streams. I don't think I'm so good at the edited content. I think I'm a little bit better at being spontaneous. So that's kind of where I think I'm falling in now. So, but that first step, I don't know. I don't know what really brought me into it, but I'm glad it did.
I agree with the editing part. I'm not good at editing. I don't have editing software or anything, so it's just usually pre-records or lives for me.
Mm. Yeah, it does seem to be the easier thing. And then too, with, you never know what's going to pop up or who's going to pop up, and that adds to the fun of it as well, I think.
Yeah, the chat definitely adds to the fun and adds to the show as well. So like, station to everybody that's watching this right now, you guys are all worth it.
We love every single one of you coming out, and we appreciate it. You guys are like the sixth man, so to speak, in our little game here.
So and you traveled over towards like doing lives with Legion, Mark, and that, and like just a bunch of people throughout this community. Like, how'd you get in touch with those guys?
Well, a lot of it came through the Burke fam. Steve Burke has a channel, Burke Family 54. He does great content, and he has a great group of guys. And it's a little odd too, because we have this one thing that connects us all in comic books. But to get to know each other, you'll find different dynamics within different chats. And Instagram too is one of those things that I had no prior experience to. I mean, I had an IG, and I maybe posted twice in like 2 or 3 years. But to be in this community, you really need it to, not only get information, get deals, buy stuff, sell stuff, but to connect with people. So in subscribing to Burke's channel, he puts you in a chat, and getting to know all these people, watching their videos. And I think that's a big advantage too, in having the ability to watch somebody's content and find out about them. So you kind of get to know them before you even spoken a word. So and getting to know them through that chat, you'll break off, and you'll hey, I saw this for you. What do you think about that? Or I heard you talk about that. I think you were right here, but you may have been missing the point here. So from one big chat, you offshoot into smaller chats, and you get to know people that way. That's how I get to know Mark. His Friday hangouts now are one of the reasons I try to rearrange my work schedule to make time for that. But you'll also have people in the YouTube community just reach out to you blindly and say, hey, listen, I appreciate your content, but you need an Instagram, and here's what you do on Instagram. And that's how I met Remy Q. Remy Q did that for me, and then the second time I spoke to him, we were probably chatting for about 2 hours, getting to know each other. So it's like small little things that lead you into larger conversations and bigger relationships. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's amazing. Like, just one thing trickles out to more, and like it's just like, oh, that guy likes something that I like, and like I want to get to know him. That's exactly how me and Shamaro bonded, because it was like, oh my god, you like Beast Wars? I like Beast Wars. And then we bonded over that. That was before I even had a channel, and I was just watching his YouTube channel.
Yeah, and station to Manny, and he's one of those people that will always be first to subscribe to a new channel. Like when he found me, I might have had 30 or 40. And I was like, Chamorro, what's that name all about? So I had to Google Chamorro, and I wondered if he was in the Philippines. And then he told me, no, he was in the Continental. So just weird how you find out and link up to people, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's funny how this community can even bring people that already knew each other back together.
Hmm.
Um, because Cryo Prime and Shimano Cinema went to like I think it was college with each other, and then they found each other in chats, and they just randomly showed up on a stream with each other, and was like, "Oh my god, it's!" And so they got reconnected through this platform as well. So I think that was just amazing.
That's so weird. I mean, in a platform with millions of people, you would think that that would never happen. And look, there it is. So awesome. Another awesome story.
Yeah, but like moving on from channels and comics, let's get into cartoons. Like I know Masters of the Universe Revelations dropped, and that like what kind of cartoons did you grow up with that you would hope that would get a remake?
Well, sadly, do I want to say sadly? I don't know. I actually enjoyed Revelations. He-Man was one of those. I would come home from school. I mean, there were no channels dedicated to cartoons, so I was allocated to time frames. So I would get home from school. Um, 4 o'clock He-Man came on, so I would sit in front of the TV to watch that. Saturday mornings, you had stuff like Thundercats, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all of that stuff that has been remade, reimagined. A lot of it's been good. Some of it hasn't been. Voltron, I watch. Um, Trying to think. I try to give anime a chance every now and again. Some of my favorites being Attack on Titan, One Punch Man. Sometimes I find it's a little too weird for me, but I may just be a little old. So
I agree. It's a hit or miss, but like um, I've been liking that one Seven Deadly Sins that's been on Netflix. I've really enjoyed that one.
mhm.
Uh,
I always try to give it a chance because they always make it look so cool when you're scrolling through. Like, what's the one on Netflix with the guy who's a crocodile?
uh, I I don't know. I
I
think
forget.
Hunters.
It might be. It might be. But to me, I get suckered in, like much like the cover buys for comics. Like a lot of the trailers too will lead me to find something. I mean, sometimes it's just too weird. Death Note, I liked. Princess Mononoke is one of my favorite. Fist of the North Star has always been in my collection. So Akira, as classic as it is, I could never get into that one. So
Yeah, and I know Gundam. Gundam is huge for a lot of anime fans, and I could never get into that at all.
yeah, Dragon Ball Z was another one that's hugely popular that I couldn't get into. Battle of the Planets was one that I liked, still continue to like. What else was there? I think that may have been it. But a lot of the Hasbro stuff in the 80s, I was like 10 or 11 years old at the time, and that's the stuff that's always stuck with me. So
What people don't realize too is that Dragon Ball Z was like a sequel series. So like there was Dragon Ball,
mhm.
which like kind of like gave you the origin of Goku. And it's funny that it plays a lot like this the origin of Superman coming down from a different Earth. So it was kind of funny, but he was a child in that series, and then in Dragon Ball Z, it's like years later, and he's an adult.
Yeah, but those to kind of want to get into that too. There's probably 400 episodes I have to watch leading up to the new stuff. So it's a little bit of a time drain, also.
Yeah, there was a lot of episodes for Dragon Ball Z, let alone, but I think there was only, I don't think there was many for Dragon Ball. But then they spun off and did Dragon Ball GT, which you can just skip altogether.
I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that. I'd probably just sit there and watch it. So, again, thank you. Thanks for the community to let you know what you should be watching and whatnot. So,
Yeah, and anime does go long sometimes because like there was an anime that I watched called Bleach,
oh, I've heard of it.
and it's like I think it's past 14 seasons now.
Wow.
So they run long.
Yeah, it's a ton of stuff, and like, I mean, YouTube and comics take up a good deal of time, just to balance in work, family. Um, Unless it's super great, like I've been watching this show on Hulu that I couldn't put down called Letterkenny. You've seen it?
Oh, I know Letterkenny.
Yeah, yeah. So I started watching it probably about a week ago, and I'm already up to like the last 3 episodes. So
Yeah, I love Letterkenny. Letterkenny is pretty fun.
yeah.
They were supposed to come to Charlottetown, which is here in PEI, and I was thinking of getting tickets to go see them live, but then COVID hit, so they had to cancel.
Yeah, yeah. Do you find that that's a true statement of Canada? Or
Some parts,
Canada? Yeah.
like it's like some parts of Canada is like that, and we don't like Quebec either.
Quebec, Quebec, Quebec. It's great. I mean, the only place I've ever been to in Canada is Niagara Falls, and that side of the falls. But Banff is on one of my bucket list places to be. I just with COVID, it's just you see so many things you want to do and so many places you want to travel, but you just can't, or you fear going to just because you may get stuck there with everything that's going on. So
Yeah, that's the issue with that. Like, and kudos to Bueller. Bueller's getting ready to travel across the world.
yeah, he's a busy guy. Hopefully, he'll have a chimichanga in every stop he makes. So.
Chimichanga, what was that? What was he eating? He was
Wasn't quesadilla? I thought it was chimichangas that he was eating.
chalupa.
Chalupas. Chimichangas is Deadpool. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's got his van ready in that, and he's gonna deck it all out. Travel. I hope to meet him.
Yeah, well, hopefully the pandemic will loosen up, and he'll be able to get around, and he'll make definitely a Canada a stop, or maybe he'll come to the States. Have you ever been?
No.
No desire to?
None until now. I have a lot of reasons now to go everywhere in the States. Definitely hit up Kansas City, go see Brother Joe and Sister Joe.
That guy is a legend to me. And I've just been recently introduced to him. I met him on Herm's show, and just the amount of amazing stuff he has at fingertips distance is amazing to me. And he's just a fantastic guy to talk to. So station to you, Brother Joe, because I know you're in the chat too. I appreciate you, brother. You're a legend.
Oh, he'll appreciate that. His lovely wife too. She's gotten into comics as well, and her and I talk a lot. And her and I are actually reading The Wicked and the Divine together and getting through that series. She just finished volume 5.
Wow. Yeah, I think I read the first volume on Comixology. I found that interesting also. A lot of the times, though, and it's weird, as big as I am into comics, reading puts me to sleep. So a lot of the times I'll start The Wicked and Divine or Comixology beforehand, and it'll be like I'll get through 3 or 4 issues and I'll knock out. So that's another one on my list too. So it was good.
It's definitely fast paced too. Like it's never dull, except for volume 3 was kind of dull, but it was informational. But other than that, it's like there's always something happening in that book.
Yep, I agree, and I think that too. Digital stuff is a good avenue to find out about a lot of things that you might have been hesitant to spend money on. So I'm enjoying that aspect as well.
So, are you subscribed to like Marvel Unlimited or Comixology?
Yeah, and I did Marvel Unlimited for a long time. That's how I read most of my comics. And Comixology, I'm still subscribed to just because of the indie aspect of it. A lot of things now are there that I've been wanting to read. A lot of Jeff Lemire stuff. That's how I got through Sweet Tooth. A good majority of Invincible, the Wicked and the Divine. What's the other one? Is it Snow Tracks? I forget. But I'm not subscribed to Marvel now. I think I might do it again in the future. I'm just trying to catch up on a lot of the indie stuff now, and I'll do that through you know, Comixology. So
Yeah, and Comixology is like connected with Amazon too, the Amazon Video. So
yeah, for $6 a month, I'd take that all day, all day.
so moving on, like what kind of movies did you grow up with?
Star Wars was the first big one. I was 4 years old when that first came out, and I remember asking my dad. That was one of my first memories. Take me see it again and again and again. So that one is one of my favorites throughout. I guess I like things that you don't normally see. Like The Usual Suspects was a big one at the time. Saving Private Ryan, Magnolia. As far as superhero movies go, uh, Infinity War is probably the best for me. With Endgame, I kind of consider them one movie because I can't watch one without immediately watching the other. So just a wide range. I do like movies. I do still enjoy going to the movies. Like if something comes out, just like Shang-Chi, I'll be there the first night, the first show, just because that's always been a good part of my life that I've always enjoyed. So
What do you think of because now I've like been looking up like when Marvel movies are coming out and stuff, and going forth they're gonna be like out like every 2 months. We're gonna get a Marvel movie going forth, plus then TV shows. What are your thoughts on that?
I think for older guys like me, we've been waiting so long for good stuff, and now that it's here, as much as we can get it, I'll take it. Um, I really haven't found a bad superhero movie yet. I mean, I didn't really enjoy Black Widow as much, but that's just because there really weren't a lot of superhero Easter eggs in it for me. Like for me, if I read the comics and they put it on screen, that for me is the ultimate. Just to watch like Civil War and see that airport scene where they're all fighting, I'm like, this is just like the Avengers, man. I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening to me right now. So for me, I don't think I'll get sick of it. I'm just hoping that I can see what I've always hoped to see on the big screen. And a lot of it has come, but I'm still waiting for that Dark Phoenix saga done right. Like Claremont and Byrne done right. And those movies. Well, I said before there weren't terrible movies. I didn't watch that last Fantastic Four or that Dark Phoenix. I don't think I watched more than 20 minutes of that movie. So
I don't know if they'll ever do another Dark Phoenix because like they already tried twice, so they might just try to move on from that storyline and do something different. That'd probably be the best bet in my opinion, because especially this early on, if they say they're going to do another Dark Phoenix saga, people are going to go, ugh.
Yeah, no, I think if things go well, it still might not be 10 years before we see that again on the big screen, and rightfully so. Left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. So,
Are you watching anything non-Marvel related like Stargirl or Titans?
ooh, that Teen Titans this season is fantastic, fantastic. Doom Patrol, I always caught up on. I always find that a quirky, good show to watch. Stargirl, in the beginning, I watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and while I enjoyed it, I hadn't kept up with it. So if it's superhero related, yeah, I usually do catch up on it. Or at least give it a try. I've watched some of the Flash series. I think I watched up to season 5 or 6. And then I stopped. No, those CW shows too. I gave it a try. Some of them I found too corny. Invincible, I look forward to watching again when it comes out. The Boys. Yeah, whatever comes down the pipe. If I know about it already, I will definitely give it a try.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the Flash ever since the beginning, and then other than that, Supergirl, I've enjoyed that. That I dropped off of Batwoman though. I tried some of the season 2, but the way they ended season 1, I loved what they were gonna do with leading up to season 2, but they had to drop all of that. Legends of Tomorrow is just fun.
Yeah, and I hear that new Lois and Clark show is pretty good, but for me, I don't know. It's like to watch Superman stuff, I have to really, really want to. And I think I may be leaning that way, but it's not really high on my list yet.
Yeah. And then Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol I've been loving, and I guess, did you see the trailer for Doom Patrol Season 3?
Yeah. And that's kept me in because I not only found the stories quirky, but Brendan Fraser I love in that. And there may be 1 or 2 females on that show that I'd like to watch too. So
it's funny seeing what's her name, Rita Farr. I always remember her, and I never knew that she had that much range in acting, because I remember her from 2.5 Men, and she played that ditzy, first Charlie's girlfriend, then Alan's girlfriend, and she was just that ditzy woman, and then seeing her in this, new perspective.
Yeah, and I think she does well. Is that was it 50s? She's a 50s star. She's always prim and proper, and always has that 50s vibe about her, which I really enjoy too. So
yeah, and it's cool seeing their struggles and that, and how they're overcoming them throughout. It's great to see the growth in characters throughout a season as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, season 2 is not as good as season 1 in my opinion.
Well, Alan Tudyk in that first season, his whole villain was enjoyable to watch. So I really dug that.
Oh man, he stole that role. He I don't think anybody can play that character as well as him. So I really wish he would have came back, but he went on to do in Resident Alien. Have you checked that out?
Mm-hmm. I saw the first episode. I thought it was cool. I hadn't read the comic though. Have you read the book?
No,
neither have I. I know Chip Getler. I think his wife was into it a bit, but I don't know if she's read it. So he's been great in anything I've seen him in. That droid he played in Rogue One. He was great in that. So
the first role I always remember him in is Knight's Tale.
Oh, with Heath Ledger.
Yeah, and Vision, the guy.
Oh yeah. Well, from him, I remember him being in, what was that movie? It was an Image comic also. Was it Prophet? It wasn't Prophet. Oh, I forget. It was a movie I think in the mid 2000s. But yeah, I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up.
So what Marvel show or movie are you most excited for in Phase 4?
I'm excited about them all. Being a Spidey guy, I'm excited about that, but I'm more psyched about seeing what the Eternals brings around. Just to see what kind of can of worms they open up. Because it is pretty new. We've had rumblings of them throughout, but just to see what pathways that opens up. Just the whole multiverse thing. The rumors about when the X-Men are coming and Fantastic Four, and just see what the MCU as a whole, what that's going to come to as a result of these upcoming movies, is what I'm psyched about most.
Yeah, well, they do. They have it slated that Fantastic Four is going to be the last movie of Phase 4. And they already have I forget who the director is, but they've already have a director for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that they're going to get started on that. And it's kind of cool that we get Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man Quantumania. But then we do have a couple movies that come out after that, but may not be connected because Guardians of the Galaxy is always in their own kind of world sometimes. So
yeah, that dynamic between Thor and Peter Quill I enjoy. I would watch a movie with those and Drax too, because he's hilarious. But I don't think Drax is going to be around after number 3.
you don't think so?
Yeah, I don't think Batista's too happy with the Marvel people. So
That's sad. Batista was always great as Drax, always the greatest comedy relief. So
yeah, I agree. I'm going to try to stay still long enough to become invisible. So we'll see.
I'm pumped for the Spider-Man movie, and especially pumped for the Doctor Strange movie because they're like talking about it, saying that it's going to be the first like horror Marvel movie that they've come out with. So,
well, Raimi is directing that one, right?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think it's the same guy who did The Evil Dead, so he's got a pretty good track record as far as horror goes. But I don't know how much horror filled it'll be, or because you always have that Disney umbrella leaning overhead, so that'll always tame the content somewhat.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they can go over. I'm not sure though, because like, is it different if they have Marvel under the title? And because in Canada right now, Disney Plus also has Star included with Disney Plus, and it has all the Fox content on it. And that, so like, I've been watching My Name's Earl, American Horror Stories on Disney Plus right now. So maybe if it's titled under Marvel, it doesn't really matter if it has a PG-14.
Maybe. I mean, you kind of hope for some R-rated hardcore stuff from certain characters. And, maybe we'll get that. Hopefully. So we'll see.
Yeah, because like Deadpool is now considered in the Marvel universe because Fox owns the rights, or Disney owns the rights to Fox.
Yeah, and you don't want to see a PG version of that guy.
Did do a Christmas special though.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of want him to talk about certain. Well, I don't want to mention it on your channel, but the
certain stuff he does in the movies.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what makes the character as well. So without those aspects of that character, it would kind of fall apart, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we've come to expect it from him, after 2.5 movies so far. So we'll see. I guess it's really 3 movies if you do count that Fred Savage version of number 2.
Yeah, the Christmas one. Christmas special with Deadpool and Fred Savage. People are probably like, who's Fred Savage?
Yeah. Another thing that makes me feel old too. But what's the next question?
I grew up with Ben Savage. Boy Meets World.
Yeah. No, I remember Topanga from that show. That's about it.
But we're almost done. But before we wrap things up, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and learning all about you.
No, thank you for having me. And I always appreciate you and what you not only put out in content, but everything you do for everybody else in the community as well. I appreciate you, Travis. Thank you.
Go check him out. Everyone that's watching, the link to his channel is down below. While you're down there, you might as well hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you're new, station and welcome. And make sure to hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss another video. And Whiplash Wednesday is not stopping here, guys. Next up is Nick Comic Culture dropping a haul video where he's showing off what he picked up and why he picked it up. It's always a great show. Then keep an eye out for Missing Link. He might show up on Instagram. He may not. He may show up and do his What's Up show. He's the Where's Waldo of this comic community. So keep a lookout for him, guys. Then after that, Big Herb Collectibles and Sam from Sam's Tangled Web. Hashtag Sam to 1K. Chop it up over Marvel, DC, Image. Who knows? Tune in and find out. There may also be a special guest joining him. Then, ending the night in fashion is Tomorrow Cinema. And this week, it's all about the Backlog Bros / PCP Army Bad Batch chat. So it's just all of us grouping up and chatting up a storm. I also want to say welcome Comics Kings Brandon to the PCP Army Bad Batch. He is now an official member of the PCP Army Bad Batch, so welcome. All of us may be talking about that tonight on Tomorrow Cinema. We may do an initiation, so tune in and check it out. But Nick, thank you so much for joining me. To end this chat, what are you picking up? What are you loving right now and that you urge people to pick up because it's just a fantastic story?
For me, it's got to be Nice House on the Lake. That show, that book for me, and especially after issue 4, that last page of issue 4, I cannot wait to find out what that's going to be. I'm also looking forward to the new iteration of Hulk and Venom. See what those new writers do on those, and please let Amazing Spider-Man be good again. Please.
But I do see like some Spawn back there. Are you picking up the new King Spawn and the Gunslinger Spawn and everything that's coming out from Spawn?
I am. I've been picking up Spawn regularly since about issue 310. This Wings of Redemption has always been in my probably about 20 years, maybe more. And I don't know, I can't point, but I saw the Spawn Kickstarter figures there. I'm not trying to jump in on your game because those 90s figures were good, but I couldn't pass those up. So
yeah, I missed out on the Kickstarter, and I think there's going to be another one coming soon, and I think I'm going to jump on board for that one because I definitely want to get on board for that.
Yeah, nice stuff. I just wish I had room to put them up so far. I'm trying to make room for them.
So what was it, like like 3 different figures?
Yeah, you want to see them?
Yeah.
All right, so you'll have new takes on the old classics, so to speak. And I didn't know about these the first time around. I just saw them in my LCS. So I don't know. I don't want to take them out. I haven't taken them out yet. But it comes with, that new head sculpt. That is actually a signed plaque, hand signed, as well as some other cool plasma and other action, other weapons. It comes with a comic, another reprint of Spawn 1 with a different cover. So that kind of fell on me. This one. They all come with these certificates.
Nice.
This one too, Modern Spawn. Comes with a gun, Al Simmons head. I think another version of Spawn 1. And this one is the artist proof. another master case, and that one is just like what it would actually look like before it went into production.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, all decked out. You know, McFarlane has always been into his articulation, high detail. Yeah, and I've had them probably about 2 weeks, and I've been deciding on whether or not I want to take them out or not. So that's why I haven't taken mine out. I'm sorry.
Those are awesome. And what a way to end the show is just showing off some amazing Spawn figures. But I want to say thank you again for joining me. And thank you everybody out there watching. Make sure to go sub up to him and go sub up to the PCP Army Bad Batch and friends of the channel, guys. Let's grow this community up. Hashtag grow together. Station everyone. And as always, stay nerdy, my friends.